a This is Politics with Lauren. Oh my goodness, there's so much going on. There's so much going on. Where do I begin? And the wild part is they all connect. And as you look right here, who hates Trump more than most? Okay, besides some of you liberals who hate him so much that you do stuff like this. Hey, okay, I'm not talking about this person here. No. No, no, no. No. This person is a politician, but before I get to that person, let me give a little agenda as far as what we're going to talk about because, oh man, the person who hates Trump the most that assisted Fani Willis in her bringing RICO charges against Donald Trump. Okay, there's a correlation. Now, within all this stuff going on here, you have Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, set up a committee with the Senate elect. Okay, I'm just gonna call it the Georgia Assembly, Senate Assembly, because I don't know the correct terminology for it. And when I see it, then I forget it. But I digress. They put restraints on district attorneys to keep them from going astray. And it just so happens, again, Fani Willis, even though that she wasn't the most corrupt, no, there are some far worse than her. But since she shed light and went after Trump, that's why she's all over the headlines, all over Georgia, all over the East Coast, said all of the United States. Heck, she's all over the world. Okay, if she wanted attention, yo, Fawny, you got it. I don't think you wanted that kind of attention to where now your man got to pay some money to his wife that, I don't know, maybe he may have led you to believe that she did something that she didn't do, but you believed him. I'm going to leave that right there. That's another video on my other channel. Yes. But she is the poster child of how you got to rein these DAs in. And that was headed by Kemp. Now, I said on previous videos, if you go back, DAs were given more leadway due to Ahmaud Arbery when he was red-rummed. You know what that means? When he was unjustly eliminated off the face of this earth. Because two guys, a father and son, thought that he stole something from a home that was being built. Chased him down the street in a he was jogging and they chased him down the street in a truck. And within their mindset, eliminated him for whatever they believed to be true or what should be done. Okay, I'm leaving that right there. I'm not going to reopen that case. I'm not going to even, it's too much. But they gave DAs freer reign to go after people. Now, due to all this free reigness, now the Democrats are saying, oh, the Republicans are trying to rein us in. Well, too much freedom is not free. It has a tendency to bring, how can I say, depending on whom you're targeting and whether if there is a real case there or not, or if you want to add a little extra fairy dust to go after someone. So there may need to be some restraints. To what degree? I don't know. But there may need to be, you may need to reel some people in. But they did it and they have it under I'll get the correct terminology when I come to that article, but let's get to the person who hates Trump the most. I'll give you an idea. It's a politician. Oh, yeah, a politician. You know how many politicians hate Trump? I would say about 90% of them, and I'm being liberal when I say that. No, I'm sorry, not liberal, conservative when I say 90% of the politicians hate Trump. Because he's a Democrat on a Republican ticket. I mean, oh my goodness. It's hysterical because Democrats hate him. Wait a minute. And most Republicans hate him. He's a no man's land. Oh, man. But the one who is ultra focused, ultra laser focused, and I will give you a geographical location. Not the East Coast, not Midwest, not Central. This person is smack dead on the West Coast. You're thinking, of course, politics with Laura. I mean, okay, we could have figured that one out. Okay. Let me show you. Again, not her. Not her. Oh, not Evan, no. Even though she may hate Trump. Liz Cheney. Oh, the lengths of hatred she has for Trump, the levels, and it all based on one point in time, and that's J6. I'm not going to litigate that. I'm not even going to get into that. I'm just pointing out who it is and why. That is it. That's all. But let's get to what I'm getting ready to get to, and that is now here he signs Georgia law reviving prosecutor sanction panel. Prosecutor sanction panel. Democrats fear it's aimed at Fani Willis, just as I said, but Fani wasn't the most corrupt DA. No. There were DAs there saying, I'm not going to prosecute. Refused. There were cases to where it was like, okay, you need to do something. Said, I'm not doing it. And that is where that committee where Ashley Merchant testified in, how do I say, Georgia Senate. She testified there. Well, that's what that was about. And like I said, it was Fani who went after Trump, and that made her face all over the world. And she is the face of all DAs in Georgia. If you're corrupt, Fani. If you don't do your job, Fani. She's receiving everything that other DAs have done or geared towards her. So, let's get to this. Alrighty, where's the section I want to get to? They just come out the gate with this. This legislation would help us ensure rogue and incompetent prosecutors are held accountable if they refuse to uphold the law, Kemp said before signing the bill, flanking by Republican legislative leaders. As we all know all too well, crime has been on the rise across the country, and it is especially prevalent in cities where prosecutors are giving criminals a free pass or failing to put them behind bars due to lack of professional conduct. If that's not shots fired, I don't know what is, saying Fani. But the interesting part is Fani has been prosecuting everyone. She went after teachers. She put how many black teachers? Racketeering. She went after, said that you're cheating. The students, you're erasing their answers, the students' answers, and then you're putting the answers that you should or that should be correct or whatever it is. Now that right there is a problem with Department of Education that should not even be there to begin with. It goes against the 27th Amendment. But I digress. That shouldn't even be there. But then you have lawyers telling teachers how they should do their job. But that's what Fani did. She went after, she put teachers in jail. So it wasn't her. And it's not that she's incompetent. It's that Nathan Wade, as Eddie Murphy would say, made her woo. She has brain fog. She's not thinking straight. All right. But are there incompetent DAs? I'm pretty sure there may be. But for Kemp to say that makes his state look bad. That was not smart, Kemp. It wasn't smart. You're saying that your population does not have an educated population and that your population has a lot of criminals. We should have thought a little bit more about that statement. That's all I'm going to point out. But that's signed into law, and Democrats are like, oh, you're aiming towards Fani. No. Like I said, it's not aimed towards her. She's just a poster child, and it's sort of going her way, but it's not directed at her. It's directed at her in an indirect way of saying, okay, when you look at Democrats, since she is the most visible, we're going to put it towards her, but you know where it really belongs. Wild. But it goes on. So Kemp goes on though Kemp signed legislation last year creating a prosecuting attorney qualification commission, it was unable to begin operating after the Supreme Court in November refused to approve rules governing its conduct. Interesting. The justices said they had grave doubts about their abilities to regulate the duties of the district attorneys beyond the practice of law. Tuesday's measure removes the requirements for Supreme Court approval. Whoa! Even though the Supreme Court was like, look, these are practicing attorneys, and for us to say, okay, you can or can't do that right there is a way beyond our scope. So we're not going to do it. But Kemp is like, okay, the commission and we are going to do it. Oh, yeah. So since you were supposed to be the law of the land of all states, which is quite interesting, how they're saying, okay, we're not going to do it because Georgia's like, hey, do it. They're like, no. Because what we do here would affect everywhere. And there are some states, if you give them that kind of latitude, oh, man. Ultimate power corrupts ultimately. Okay, I guess maybe that's how the saying goes. I'm not quite sure, but you know what I mean. But he goes on. But here's the interesting part. Okay, House Republican Speaker John Burns of Newington, this is in Georgia, said that the House efforts have not been directly aimed at Fani Willis, who already is facing an effort in court to have her removed from the Trump prosecution over a romantic relationship she had with special prosecutors she employed in the case. True. Now, it's interesting. Now, this right here is going to play one of two ways. So I'm going to play the advocate because I'm an independent. So I'm looking at both sides. One side is saying, okay, her appearance of having a romantic relationship with a colleague is inappropriate and she should not be a part. She ought to be removed due to that. The other side is saying, well, she's not incompetent. She got the indictment. She's getting the job done. You have other politicians who have all types of romance going on in the office, doing everything from A to Z. But because it's a woman and she's doing the same thing what the men do, it's a problem. Get rid of her. Nah, she got the indictments. Let her finish. She's not, everything what she did was up to par. She got everything. She's not incompetent. Why don't you go after those people who are incompetent? She's trying to get the job done. The goal is to get Trump. Let her get Trump. Letitia James got Trump. Let her get Trump. Quite interesting. Now, you may not agree with what I'm saying on either side. That's why I brought out both sides. Because there are two sides to this one story. Okay? So, I thought it was quite interesting how they threw incompetent in there. And keep in mind, Fani is the face of it. Even though she doesn't know where Belize is or what what hemisphere. Oh, Fani, you were doing fine until you did. Oh my God. That should have been you should have kept your mouth shut on that. Oh my God. You embarrassed. You embarrassed everyone. Okay. I thought Amber Heard. Oh man. You made Amber Heard look like she's a little bit more on this plane than normally she. Okay, I'm going to leave that one alone. Okay. Let's go back to the article. Okay, now this right here is the part here. Let me see. Why is this not? Okay. Oh, that is so cool. I got my program. I can make red lines. Okay, here. Okay, the law. Okay, where is it? Okay, the law was enacted even as the Senate was creating a special investigation committee that the Republicans say will be used to combat whether Willis. Okay, this right here is too thick. Okay, that's better. Okay, the Republicans say they will be used to probe whether Willis has used state monies to benefit herself by employing attorney Nathan Wade as a special prosecutor in the Trump case. That committee has already heard testimony from Ashley Merchant, the defense attorney for the co-defendant Michael Rowan, who first raised questions about Wade. Now, very interesting. So, even though that they're throwing incompetent and all this other stuff in there, Fani is not the only one that they're going after. It's just that Fani is the poster child because she's the most recognizable, and attention is being placed on her, her life, everything's being scrutinized. So, interesting. But that's not where it ends. Fani, in 2001, it's said that that Kamala Harris was giving Fani information, basically saying, "Hey, Fani, go after him." But even before, I believe the dates are real close, so I'm not quite sure which one came first, but either way, she was going to do what she did. It didn't matter which went first. Well, maybe I'm putting a little bit too much of my thoughts in there, so let me just scratch that, strike that. It's believed that Kamala Harris pointed Fani towards Trump, but there's someone else that we are not paying attention to, and that is Fani Willis is named in the J6 report. She wrote a letter. The letter is in the J6 report. And how can I say, Liz Cheney had no problems giving Fani any and everything that she needed. And she gave her specific information that she was able to secure the RICO indictment. Now, even though Judge McAfee was dismissed some of the charges, he did not dismiss the RICO charges. So, within all that, that still stands. So, this is going to be very interesting as it plays out. Now, Judge McAfee, yes, he made his decisions, but he still has not said whether if Fani's going to stay on the case or not, whether if her relationship with Nathan Wade, was it improper, which bar should he use. She said the highest bar. The Trump lawyers and co-defendants are all saying make it the appearance of impropriety. That's the appearance. So that but there's a low bar. So he has to, find he's going to make a decision whether if it's a yay or nay. So all of this is quite interesting. I thought I would pay a little bit more attention to Governor Kemp because what he does affects the entire state. It just so happens Fani is the poster child. So anything that goes wrong in law and in Georgia, it's Fani's fault. So, what do you think? What are your thoughts about this?